Hi everyone, Ernie Tech here. We're going to do something a little bit different today, and we're going to do some comparisons between Music SP and MVS. And one of the reasons why I wanted to do this was someone asked in the comments if I was going to be getting into ZOS, and the reason I said no was because ZOS obviously is a proprietary operating system of IBM. MVS is its grandfather, and functionally, for the most part, well, in the respects that we need to worry about it, they're kind of the same as far as how they operate and how they deal with data sets and the file equivalents thereof in Music SP. But on the MVS side, MVS is as far as we go as in the ZOS type of environment. Okay, I think it's going to be very useful, but it's not going to be exactly ZOS. But the other thing I wanted to do is make some comparison to the way you actually work with the information in each of these operating systems. Granted, they're both on a mainframe emulator. The one on the right, this one over here, is using the venerable Hercules. Hercules being that amazing piece of software that was written to create a mainframe on your PC. Same thing over here, except this is the one that is using the SIM 390, which was created by Dave Edwards from McGill University. One of the reasons why I had decided to start this whole endeavor, which I'm thrilled to do, by the way, I'm having more fun and learning more and more about these things as I make these videos, which is one of the reasons I wanted to do it, because it forces me to learn, which I like to do anyway, but it forces me to dig in. And this is how we're doing it. The Music SP environment is easier. It is friendlier. It assumes that you don't know very much about mainframes or how you interact with them. It assumes that you're a student or you're a teacher or some kind of a faculty, and you'll see the difference. You'll really understand why Music SP was my first choice. And then as we go on and we move into finally MVS, you'll be happy we started with Music SP, believe me. Alrighty, so when you log into each of these things individually, I have two of the instances running here. This is the first thing you're going to see when you log in, because in Music SP you get this admin main menu. When you log in as Herc01 in MVS, this is what you see. Now, this is what you see in the MVS 3.8J turnkey system version 4, which is what I'm using. There is a version 5. But I've had problems using version 5 on a virtual private server. Although I've read all the musings in the group's I.O. People, they kind of know about there's a slowdown. There's some kind of a slowdown with the TK5 version, the latest and greatest, which was written by a guy named Rob Prinz. So I'm sticking with 4 because for me, it does the job, and I'm real happy with it. Okay. Let's play with this thing here. So over here we have Music SP. This is what you start out with when you log in. Let's go to the full screen interface, and what we want to do is we're going to start playing with some files. So I'm going to go down here. I could either do it by moving my cursor around or hitting the number 9, either one, whatever the case may be. Let's go ahead and do that. Up at the command prompt, again, I can move my cursor around, or it can just stay right up here, FLIB for the file library management utility. And there's the library management screen right there. And you see all the different files that are available to me logged in as $000. Now over here on MVS, the IBM operating system, or the IBM operating system running in Hercules, we start out with a screen that was created by the creators of this TK4 version. This is not what you would necessarily see if you logged in at a data center run by an IBM shop. But there are two things. That is the RFE and the RPF, and they're both similar. It says SPF-like productivity tool. Well, they're supposed to mimic ISPF, which is that productivity environment that costs so much with IBM. There's two versions, one from Rob Prinz, which is number 2, and one from Greg Price, which is number 1. Number 1 is what I prefer. Later on in TK5, made by Rob Prinz, he just includes his as the default, but you can still use Greg's anyway. But let's just use number 1 over here. So here's option 1. Watch what happens. It says, okay, here's six things you can do. What would you like to do? Well, the first thing I want to do is just go to the utilities, because I want to see some I want to be able to view and edit and do some things to basic data sets. Now, before I get too far along here, take a look at this. The information provided by MVS is minimal, very minimal. Over here is about all I get, and it says that I am user HERC01, which is the admin, which is the boss, as it were. What's the old saying? Friends don't let friends log in as root. Well, we're not really. It's not quite that way, but you get the gist. Hang on, I got my Tim Hortons coffee in my Buc-ee's mug as always. I need a swig. And this is only number 2 of the day, so I'm really behind here. So over here, you can see the user ID is HERC01, the system is TK4. The terminal is your logical unit I'm coming in on right here, a little bit different than over here. The release, the time of day, and yada, yada, yada. Over here, if I say I want to hit the utilities, I go to 3, and it says, what do you want to do? I'm going to say, in this case here, I want to look at my data sets. DS list for data set list. Now, a data set is MVS's way or IBM's way of referring to collections of data we like to call files. So there are several kinds of data sets in MVS. The basic ones are your data sets, your individual data sets, and then your partition data sets. And the partition data sets are kind of like directories, actually. So that's a whole different animal, the way you interact with data on the MVS. Over here in Music SP, it's a lot more usual. It's, like a Unix or DOS machine. You have subdirectories and folders and things like that. So again, I give Music SP the go for being friendly, and I give MVS the go for being old school. Yeah, that's the way to put it. Okay, so serial volume numbers. So volume serial numbers in MVS is the way you refer to the volume where all your files or the things you're interested in live. Unlike over in Music SP. Now, something else I want to mention, and I have nobody to write to about this. I don't know why all of these things have to start with M. Why does it have to be Music SP, MTS, MVS, at least for the big 3? I don't understand that, but there's no one to write to. So over here in MVS, you have to understand what a data set is, and you have to understand what the volume serial number is. And the volume serial number is where the data sets live. A little like a nested doll kind of a thing. In the case here, I want to go to this little public data set that I know of, PUB003. It's already in there. Over here in Music SP, I'm already logged in as me, $000. And if I go over here and I just hit the enter key, it's going to say, all right, here are all of the data sets that you get to play with in volume pub003 if you are Mr. HERC01. And Mr. HERC01 is an admin, so you get to see whatever you want to see, right? Okay, great. Over here, sort of similar, where it says, all right, you're Mr. $000, and this is what you get to see in the root of your personal directory. But if you know where you're going, you can get to see pretty much anything that you want. So Music SP is going to be much more familiar as far as a DOS or a DOS or Unix kind of a tree structure. And over here on the right, you're dealing with volumes and data sets, partition data sets, sequential data sets, all sorts of good stuff. And the information over here tells you more about it. It tells you the tracks on the disk. It tells you the format, fixed block, variable block, record length, C80, very much like a punch card. And over here, kind of the same thing. And Music SP, 80 fixed length, the size of the file. But Music SP also gives you all sorts of nice little hints down here at the bottom. It says, well, here's what you can do, and we put that in there for your convenience. But over here in MVS, it says, if you don't know what you're doing, you're cooked. You better look up in the manual what to do. Doesn't hold your hand, holds your hand, takes you to lunch, and takes your kid to the prom. There's the difference between MVS. It doesn't like you. That's not true. And Music SP, it loves you, I think. All right, let's play with Music SP for a second. Now, I'm going to go down to, let's say that little Rex program that I wrote a while ago called AddNums. You can see it right there. All I have to do is move my cursor around, and I put it onto those red lines right there. And I just type in something very easy, which is E for edit. And it takes me right into the good old editor. If I go over here to MVS and the way it does things, I can find something. For instance, there is a game somewhere called Klingon, and I haven't played it, but anyway, you can go in there and type in the letter E, and let's see what she'll do. Well, same kind of thing. E for edit. It starts to let me edit the Klingon.help file on volume pub003. What I want you to notice is this. You notice it has these leading characters, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, iterated numerical from bottom going up, or, from top to bottom. It's like a line list in the old BASIC days. Over here in Music SP, it doesn't give you a line number on the line. You still have the information up here, or the line right here, and so on. But this is important. This is actually where you put in commands. You can actually move your mouse around and put commands in there, and it'll do things to this text. Same as over here on the right-hand side in MVS TK5. I have TK5 Nano, but it's actually TK4, so don't be confused. I know what I'm doing. Not really. Over here, I could do something like this. So let's say I'm in the third line, and I'm in that line right there. If I put in the letter D for delete, so now it says 00D003, and I press the Enter key, watch what happens. It deleted it. And kind of gives you a little indication there. Hey, something happened there. It's red. That line went away and everything moved up. Okay. Now I go over here to the Music SP screen and can do the same thing. I can move my cursor up, and let's just say for fun I want to get rid of that blank line. Put in D, press Enter. Same kind of a deal. So this area over here is important because that's where you can put in these opt commands, these opt cmd or cmd/opt commands. Same principle on both, just a different way of doing it. MVS doesn't hold your hand by any way, shape, or form. Music SP buys you a cup of Bucky's coffee and smiles at you lovingly when you're working with it. Okay, I hope that's clear. I mean, I wanted to do this so you get a sense of, now you're getting into the meat and potatoes of this stuff, and you really want to know, well, what's the difference between the two? Is this Music SP stuff of which you speak going to help me at all if I want to become a mainframe guy? Maybe. It's going to help you understand the philosophy and the mechanics of how these things work, but you're not going to jump into MVS and become a pro right away. That is for sure. But those are the two. Now, something else I want to show you, which is kind of interesting. So let's go back over here in Music SP. You notice down here the command prompt. So if I pop down to the command prompt and I say, okay, I want to get out of this. And it says, well, you made some changes. Are you sure you want to terminate the edit? I say, yes, I do. Okay, press Enter. To resume takes me back to the file listing in the file management screen. If I press F1, what it does is it takes me to the help facility. Now, the help facility is great, and they put a lot of time and effort into it. The problem I found with the help facility is that it's not necessarily in an order that makes sense, because if I want to get some information about what the command opt things I could put in those lines are, it gives me a quick blurb and then takes me somewhere else completely, and not until I keep on pressing F8 do I finally get to those option codes. So it mentions the option codes very early on, but doesn't explain them until, like 6 pages down. So that wasn't very helpful in my estimation. So here's what I did, and you can do the same thing if you want to. If you are in a help screen, or any screen for that matter, you can do this. You can just in this emulator, the 3270 emulator, the WC3270 that we installed, and you can do it in the Sim390 environment as well. you can just hold your mouse down and highlight that whole area. And you can't right click, nothing's going to pop up, but you can use Control C, Control V, and then you can pop this right into any old word processor you like. So what I did was I just went through all the different help pages, dropped the text into Word or whatever I was using. I think it was Google Docs. And then moved things around so that it looked a lot more logical. It was an easier thing to see rather than having to do all this paging around and so on. And so I'm going to leave a link to that in the file description so you can actually click on that and pull it up and make your life a bit easier. All right, let's pop out of this again. Another thing that has happened, and somebody had asked me about, a friend of mine who's helping me to sort of troubleshoot some of these videos, is that he kept getting this message at the bottom of the screen. And I'm not sure that I can emulate it right now. I don't know exactly how I get it up there. It says X protected. If you ever see in the bottom of one of these emulator screens, X protected, you're not going to be able to put any text in here. You're going to be like, what did I do wrong? I can't get this thing to respond. It's like it's hung. No, you just press your tab key. Press your tab key anytime you see X protected pop up, and you'll be back in business. So that's a hard to find and fix, but the tab key will get you back in business if X protected keeps popping up and stops you. Okay, alrighty. So there's MVS, and let's do something here. So I'm going to scroll back up to here, and I'm going to type in, and the commands are different too, as you can imagine. Cancel, and then she'll take me back up again, and then I can F3 my way right back out again to where I came in at. So that's real easy to do. Same thing over here, but you don't use cancel, use some other command. Again, down at the bottom, here's your options and so on and so forth. Now, there are a couple of things you can do. You can sort, for instance. So if I go up here and go to the command prompt, and you can just tab around too. But when you do that, you wind up having to tab all the way through all the listings. So why bother? Just move it around. And you could put in SORT. Now, if you put the, oh, good. There, see the X protected here at the bottom? If X protected pops up, see that? Nothing's happening. Why won't you respond? I'm frustrated. Don't worry. Press your tab key and you're back in business. So if I type in sort, well, it's already sorted. If I type in sort FM, it gives me a different way of sorting. I have to look that up, see what that is. Format, I think. I don't know. There's a whole list of stuff that you can do in the command prompt that will, assist you in viewing your files. So that's all sorts of stuff, and that's in that link that I put in the bottom of the description. What else can you do over here? Column flip, F4. If you don't want to see the information, you can just column flip it, so you can just see the columns, and that way you don't have to F8 up and down, or F7 up and down. Just see the whole thing in one shot. Yay! Or if you want to see all the great details, or no details at all, with F11. Real nice stuff and hard to find in MVS, believe me. MVS will be, it'll be difficult. Music SP, it aren't difficult. Okay. Hopefully this gives you a little better idea of what it is that we're doing, and gives you a better idea when you compare the two operating systems, how one is a hand holder and the other one is a head scratcher. I just made that up. And we're back at the admin main menu. And that's pretty much it. I'm not going to pop out of here because later today I want to play with both sides more and do some comparisons. Alrighty, that's my my video this time around, making a comparison between Music SP and the way it works and its mechanics and its way of seeing its world, and MVS, which is something that we're going to aspire to. Okay, thanks for watching as always. Thanks for the great comments. Please subscribe. I appreciate it. I think I'm almost 800 subscribers, which still blows my mind. And we'll keep going. Alrighty, take care. Bye for now.